I've been getting a lot of requests for making a YouTube video on how to get the best FPS in Warzone 2 while the game still looks stunning. Okay, as soon as you open up your Call of Duty Warzone, you want to jump into the settings tab and go to graphics. In your graphics tabs, you want to go to display. Okay, so we're going to go through all the settings here that will best benefit your computer. The first things you want to do is you want to set your display mode to full screen. This will give you the maximum performance out of your game. This is something related to Windows and Call of Duty not working nice together if you use full screen borderless mode. I currently only have it on full screen borderless mode due to me jumping between screens for recording. Full screen exclusive mode gives you the best performance, most FPS you'll ever get in this game. Select your monitor that you're going to be using for your game. Your screen refresh rate, always make sure that it's set to the highest, minus 144 Hz. My display resolution, my screen's resolution size, which is I have a 1080p, so I put it on 1080p. Dynamic resolution, you can set that to off. Your aspect ratio, you can set this to your screen. I just leave mine on automatic. VSync gameplay and VSync menu, I turn all of this off. There's massive input delay on your game if you put this on, specifically if your game cannot run at the frames of your refresh rate. Custom frame rate limit, I set mine to unlimited because I just like to see how much frame my PC can push. You don't have to need to put this on that. You can actually put it on custom. This will basically help your computer not overheat or overrun while just being in the menu. Look, I'm running 160 frames at the moment on the menu. My graphics card is working its butt off. Yours don't need to do that right now, because you can get people, when your graphics card gets too hot, it starts thermal throttling, and then you start getting less FPS the longer you play. I don't know if you've noticed, the longer you play, your FPS starts dipping. That can be one of the reasons. So what a lot of people do is they set their gameplay custom frame rate limit to what the refresh rate of their screen is, minus 144. So in your case, if yours is 60 or 144, whatever it is, you will set your frame rate to that amount. The menu custom frame rate, you can put it to 60 because you don't need to run more than that, as well as when you minimize your game, you can set it to a lower amount. I use 60 and 30. I feel like that's the best. If you do see your game is having issues while running around, stuff popping in or stuff not popping in on the game or on the map, just restart your shaders optimization. This will re-download the shaders for you. Now let's jump to the quality tab. Okay, in quality, you want to set your render resolution to 100%. If you do see you having a little bit of issues regarding keeping up with the frame rate of your screen, or you just want higher FPS, you can set this lower to about 90, and it should kind of still look the same. And you'll get a great deal of FPS, but I prefer running this at 100. There's a lot of people who's currently using upscale sharpening. If you have a 20 series in a higher graphics card, you can use Nvidia DLSS to gain more FPS. You can then select quality, balance, or performance. Ultra performance, your game will look very bad, chat, but at least you'll get the frames you want to be able to play this game. Otherwise, just leave the setting off. I do not like playing with it. I just keep it off. Anti-analyzing, you can set it to SMAA T2X. I prefer the filmic version of it. I just like the way the game looks on it. You do get a significant FPS hit when you put this specific setting on, so I recommend having it on SMAA T2X, but yeah, I like playing it on filmic. Anti-analyzing quality, you can set this to low. This will give you the best FPS. Anything you pick here will decrease your FPS by a lot. Your video memory scale, so if you currently having like stuttering issues on your game, start tuning this slowly down to like 80 or 60 and see if your stutter disappears. In most cases, this is resolve the stuttering for a lot of people. This is one of the two that can fix it. I have another one which can fix it for you. Texture resolution, you can set to very low. Currently I'm running on it low. My PC is allowing me to run it on low, where I can have a better looking game as well as have maximum frames on that. But if you set it to very low, you'll get way more frames. I just don't like how the game looks, and it's a small difference in frames. You lose like 3 to 5 frames switching between these two. But if you go higher than that, you can see there on my graphics card here at the bottom by the estimate VRAM, you will see that it goes up significantly a lot. You want to make sure that you don't pump it up too high, because you will lose. When I'm saying lose 20s, if you set this to normal or high, so recommend using low or very low. Everything else you can put on low. You see my clutter draw distance currently on this blank. I will show you in the config file where to edit this. Right now, just leave it, don't touch this. We're gonna tune it there a little bit lower than what the game recommends you to do. Particle quality, you know, on the older Call of Duties, if you set this to high, you used to get frames. Now just leave it on off, you will lose a lot of frames doing this. Particle quality level, you also leave on very low. Your bullet impact and sprays, I would put it on if I was you, because you can then see where people are shooting bullets from over the map. If you're flying in or driving a chopper, you will see people's bullets flying everywhere. You can actually see where those people are when they shoot their guns. Also, this has zero impact on your frame, so you can reap all the benefits of just keeping this on. Persistent damage layers you can put off, shader quality low, tessellation low. Terrain memory, again, I will show you in the game's config file how to tweak this lower than the in-game settings. Okay, on-demand text streaming, put this on off. You want to keep this off. If you have a slow internet connection, this will make your game lag, boys. If you don't have a good internet, your game will definitely not play good. Okay, your game will lag. You will have latency problems, packet loss problems. Just put this off. There's really no benefit to it. I can't even see the difference if I have it on how this quality of these textures even look like. Streaming quality low, volumetric low, physics quality low, water castix, I think that's how you say it. If you put this on, you will be able to see people through the water a lot clearer, because the water will then kind of look like it's clean water, so you'll be able to see all the way to the bottom of the water. I prefer having this off. It does have an impact on your FPS, so I prefer having this off. I don't care if I can't see, because how many fights do you actually have in the water? Not a lot, so you don't really need this to be on. Shadow map resolution, put this on very low. You can put it on normal or very low. If you don't like how the record edges look on the shadows, go to normal. You will get an FPS hit if you want it to look cleaner, but some people just prefer the shadows to look good. If you don't care about shadows looking clean, go to very low. That's what I play on. You gain a lot of FPS by putting this on. Screen space shadows, shadow quality, spot shadow quality, I put this on low and off. On spot cache, I put mine on ultra. This is dependent on your GPU. If your GPU has a lot of VRAM, you can put it on ultra. If your GPU does not have a lot of VRAM, I recommend putting it on medium. It will do the things. Play around with the settings, see which one gives you the most FPS. But however, I found that this does actually increase my FPS. It also does help with stuttering issues that people are getting, because a lot of the time stuff is loading in and this prevents it from happening. So if you put it on the correct one here, your stuttering issues with a combination of your video memory scale will make your game run better. Particle lighting and ambient I put off and low. Screen reflections, this is heavy. If you put anything on here, boys and girls, you will lose frames. Just put everything off here. Okay, now the Nvidia Reflex low latency, so this is very dependent on your own machine. You need to test it out. Putting it on off gave me the most FPS in low latency on my PC. Having this off gives me the best performance, but I've seen a lot of videos and a lot of people confirming that just having it on gives them a lot more FPS and consistent FPS when they put this on. But I have also seen where people says on plus boost gives them better. So this is completely depending on your machine. Don't just follow randomly what anyone's video is saying. Pick and run your game and see which one is the best. So for me, having it on off gave me the best FPS in game. It's just, my game just works way better, runs way better. I get a higher average frames, and it's just better, chat. GPU has lower usage than your CPU. I say put it on plus boost. In other words, just leave it on or turn it off. But in most cases, test it. You will see which one is best for you, because there is no right answer to this one. Everybody literally has to test per machine. It doesn't work for everyone here. Depth of field, motion blur, and foam grain, just turn all of that off. So let's go over to view. Okay, so on view, you got your field of view, which mine is currently set to 120. I like playing on 120. 120 field of view. It just feels better. It feels faster. The movement feels clean. I know a lot of pros actually plays on 103. So where the target is a lot bigger, the aim assist will feel stronger because the target is bigger. So this is completely what you prefer is the best for you. So select that. I would highly recommend you put your ADS field of view to affected. It won't change the field of view of your gun. So if you're running on a 120, your gun will also look 120. So just have it on affected. It will work better. You will just also feel like you have less recoil with just having this setting on. Weapon field of view, I like to put mine on wide. Like I said, I like a wide view of my environment. It feels faster, looks faster. This is completely of what you prefer to put it though. Like there is no right answer here. Just pick whatever you want. It will work. Okay, so this is just preference. Don't worry about this. You can pick whatever. First person and third person camera movement. Put this on least. This will literally give you the lowest recoil. Like you wonder why all the streamers looks like they have no recoil. You wonder why it looks like their guns just stand still when they shoot. It's this specific setting. Having it on affected and putting this on least. All this does is it makes your gun cycless. It literally, this won't happen to your gun. Your gun will look like it's still now. Just put this on this and you should be Just trust me, put it on this, you will thank me later. Well, comment down below if it does. I think this pretty much sums up all the settings for your in-game. So let's jump to the Windows side of everything. So on Windows, there's a few settings we can change there as well, which can help you make your game just works a lot better. What I found is that there's about 2 or 3 settings you can tweak within your Windows to just make your game run better. So let's quickly jump into that. On Windows, you want to type in graphics settings. If you open up your graphics settings, you want to go all the way and find your Call of Duty game. Here you can see mine, it's Call of Duty HQ. You go to options. So what it will do on default, it will put it on let Windows decide, makes high performance. I found that this literally makes my game not play good at all. So I've changed this to high performance, selected my graphics card, and it made a huge impact on how my Call of Duty performed. Trust me, huge impact. Just change the setting, save, then go to change your graphic things, or just look for hardware acceleration within your computer, find it, turn it off. This for some reason having this on just makes you lose a lot of frames. I do not know why. It just happens in Call of Duty. Call of Duty's optimization is extremely weird. Turn this off and restart your computer. After you do this, you search for game mode. Game mode settings. In game mode settings, all you want to do is you want to make sure game mode is on. Found that having game mode on actually gives me better performance on Call of Duty. And then you want to go to captures. I think you can just search capture settings. Yeah, there we go. It will bring you here. Capture settings, literally just turn everything off. You don't want to make your Windows record any gameplay. This can significantly decrease your frames. So just turn everything off in here that you find. Make sure it's off. Just changing these few simple Windows settings makes a big difference in your game's FPS. And your game's FPS will boost if you just do these changes. So now for your Nvidia control panel settings. If you have an Nvidia card, just follow these settings. If you don't, you can skip it to the next part of the video. Okay, so open up your Nvidia control panel and then go to adjust image settings. Make sure that it is use the advanced 3D settings, 3D image settings. So that what this will do is it will allow us to manipulate some of the game's settings in here, and it will have an effect of on how your FPS will be. So first thing we want to do in global settings, we want to just change like 2 or 3 things. You want to change your power management mode. You want to put it on prefer maximum performance. Your preferred refresh rate, you want to pick the highest available. And your shader cache size, you want to put to 100 gig. The reason why you want to put it on 100 gig is this is also related to some stuttering issues people has been experiencing. By setting it to 100 will help you. So I found that this setting helped me out a lot. So if you see that there's a bottleneck happening on your GPU or CPU, don't leave this on auto select. Check what is not bottlenecking and select that. In my case, my CPU is running at max while my GPU is not. So I'm telling Nvidia's control panel to use only my GPU to do physics and not my CPU. If yours is the other way around, just switch it up. Pick what is best for your PC. Okay, in my scenario, my GPU is not bottlenecking. If you want to know what's bottlenecking, the best thing to do is open up your task manager, run the game, and see which one is running closer to 100%. So now let's go into your Call of Duty config file. You remember I told you in the beginning of the video we're gonna touch it a little bit. So there's some things you can change that will make your gameplay better. So let's just go and check this out. The first thing you want to do is you want to open up your file explorer, go to documents, go to Call of Duty and players. You want to choose your option 3 COD 22. If you open up this file, you will see there's some few things you can change in here, but let's first go completely down at the bottom and start from the bottom. So one of the 2 most important things that I found to help with FPS a lot was your video memory scale and your render worker count. Okay, so now you want to know, how do you know what your render worker count is? If you are using an AMD machine, your render worker count, you can just select whatever your cores is. So you can go, how to check what your cores, you can open up your task manager and you can go to performance mode and you can click on your CPU. So if you click on your CPU, it will state here at the bottom your cores, amount of cores you have here. So I got 6 cores. I need to set mine to 6. If you have a PC, an Intel chip, you will see that sometimes it will say that you guys have 16 cores or whatever amount of cores. On Intel, how it works is you need to halve your CPU core. So if you have a 16 core, you want to put 8 cores. If you have a 8 cores, you want to, well, you don't want to go to 4, but you want to go then to 6. You don't want to go lower than 6. We found that the sweet spot is 6 and higher. So whatever your amount of cores is, you half it on Intel. On AMD, you make sure to set it to the same amount of cores that you have on your computer. So you can just go check it here by cores and then put it in the value in here. Mine is 6. Video memory scale. So I found it in Call of Duty itself, which only used 9 gigs of my graphics card, and I've got a 10 gig graphics card. So what I did was I set mine to 1, meaning it was using the full 10 gigs of my graphics cards. By just doing these 2 settings, my graphics got a huge boost. I'm talking about like 50 FPS boost, because Call of Duty was just not utilizing my PC's performance. So just quickly change that by you. Save your file and check how your gameplay. So there's 2 or 3 more things we can change in here. So Sun Cascade Shadow, we've noticed when you put it in game, you can't go, it doesn't go lower than medium. So if you want to make sure that you put lowest one in, you can see the one, it says low 1 cascade, whatever that word is. You can just copy that exact word just like that and paste it within these 2 quotations marks. Okay, you were wondering how I got my clutter mode, I think it was called clutter mode models or something like that in game. You wanted to know how I got it to a lower amount and it wasn't displaying. So basically, if you go to clutter max distance, you can set it to the lowest or highest amount. I prefer mine to be on the lowest. This does give you more FPS. If you set it to the highest, you can see more in game, but you will lose a lot of FPS. So you can literally just copy this amount, paste it inside of this quotations mark. This will give you a much more higher FPS. All you want to do after you've done all of those changes that I've told you, you can go on the X button and you click save. You will notice now, after doing all of those specific settings, that your graphics has improved by a lot. It will. It should. If it doesn't work and your graphics didn't get better, that means, my friend, it's time for you to upgrade your computer. And there is no hope for you on your current machine. You need to probably upgrade your machine to a better PC. And your PC can most likely not handle this game anymore. But in most cases, this has given me, I was struggling to get over 90 FPS. I'm now getting up to 160 FPS within Warzone, which is a lot. It was a huge difference. Just try and change these settings, and I hope this helps you guys. Let me know in the comments below if this helps, and if you want me to go in a little bit more detail, I can still do one more video that can give you a lot more frames, but it's going to be a little bit of an advanced video. If you want me to do that advanced video, comment down below and I'll pop it through for you guys. See you guys soon. Thank you for watching.